Hi, I'm Janet Hughes. I'm the Programme Director for the Future Farming and Countryside Programme in DEFRA, and I'm here today to talk about what we're doing over the next 7 years in the agriculture transition in DEFRA. And what we're going to be doing in that time is phasing out everything to do with the Common Agricultural Policy, so all the subsidies and schemes that are associated with that, and bringing in new domestic arrangements. So instead of spending £2.4 billion a year through the Common Agricultural Policy, most of which goes on subsidies to farmers, we'll be moving to a position where we're rewarding farmers for producing public goods on their land. And that means things that are good for the environment, good for water quality, good for air quality, good for biodiversity, good for the climate, and good for beauty and natural heritage. And we're going to do that by introducing some new schemes, environmental land management schemes, for rewarding public goods at farm level, at local level and at landscape level. And we're also going to be supporting prosperity in the sector through grant support and learning and development support and innovation support. And we're also looking at how we manage regulation and enforcement to prevent damage in the countryside. And when we take that whole package together, what we're hoping to achieve is a more competitive and vibrant agriculture sector, and also much better climate, environment and animal welfare outcomes from the sector. So farmers really want to know, what are these schemes actually going to look like? So they've seen the policy announcements, they've seen the intent, they've heard us talking about co-design, and they want to see what are the actual details, what are you going to pay me for and how much, and that's entirely understandable. And we know that farmers need to plan over a long period. And so we've said that this year, 2021, is the year of details and delivery in the programme. And so we've been working really hard to get the details ready for the first release of the Sustainable Farming Incentive, which will come out next year, and we'll be publishing details of that very shortly. And we've also launched our pilot for the Sustainable Farming Incentive, and we've had more than 2,000 farmers showing an interest in helping us design what the future should look like. The main support we're putting in place for farmers at this stage in the transition is to help them plan their businesses in a world where subsidies are going down, and they're going to need to make up that income through other means, including agri-environment schemes, we hope. And so the main support we'll be providing from this summer through existing trusted organisations will be free business planning advice for farmers. But we also know we can do much better in this country at, first of all, looking at innovative practices and developing them and applying them here. We know the States and Australia are really leading the way on regenerative agriculture, but there are people here in this country doing really exciting, innovative things. And so there's investment that we'll be putting into supporting that innovation and supporting trials to see what works. This is a really exciting time for farming. I mean, particularly coming here and seeing what some of the folk here are doing and learning about and talking about with each other. There's so much opportunity to think in a different way about how we approach farming in the countryside. We know it's very hard for new entrants coming into farming to actually get hold of land and get hold of the capital they need and get a foot on the ladder. And so we're developing a new entrant support scheme in DEFRA, and we're co-designing that with some new entrants to find out what is it exactly that's making it hard and what can we do to help. Thinking about how farming needs to change for the future, our view is that what we would need to do is be focusing our effort and our investment on sustainable farming practices and on things which can really produce the outcomes that we want to see in terms of combating climate change, improving the environment, and also improving animal welfare. And so from our perspective, the things that we're trying to change are the way that we invest government money in support of that, but that's obviously part of a much wider change in the sector as people across the whole sector think about how they can apply the principles of regenerative farming or whichever particular system they're part of to what they're doing. And what we really want to see is farmers feeling informed, empowered, enthused about producing environmental goods on their land alongside the food and other goods that they already produce, so that we think of productivity in a much rounder sense than we do now, and we think about production in terms of producing wildlife and producing carbon sequestration as well as producing really healthy food. And if we can get the whole sector thinking in that way, then I think that's a route towards a much more sustainable future for farming.